You know, Rad, I've been thinking about it. I think Hiccup actually is my favorite.
Yeah? I like a good burp.
What? No, not the bodily function. Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, right, because we're reviewing the new game in the series, Dreamworks Dragons, Dawn of New Riders. See, burps are great.
Excuse me.
Dragon is a super popular movie franchise about a boy named Hiccup and his dragon pal Toothless.
I love this series, Rad. It's just so full of heart, and I want my own dragon buddy too. In the game, though, all of the known characters only make very small appearances. Instead, you play as newcomer Scribbler. After waking up in the ruins of Havenholm with no memory, you make friends with a strange hybrid Chimeragon named Patch, who develops ice, fire, and lightning abilities. Together, you set out on a quest to stop the villainous heir from controlling dragons' minds. I have to say though, for a franchise with great stories, this story, not so great.
Yeah, the writing isn't amazing, is it? Hey! The game is quite short, and the story feels rushed and predictable. Gem, you know I love a short and sweet game, but this just felt like it was going through the motions and almost had a story just for the sake of it.
Not just that, but it didn't feel like it was doing justice to the characters that I know and love. Astrid basically exists solely to sell you potions, and even though she turns up at every location before you, there's always some weakly written excuse as to why she doesn't join the fight. The Astrid I know would never back down.
And she would come in handy because there is a fair amount of fighting to do. Help! The combat is mostly hack and slash, though there are a few different enemy types that encourage you to switch tactics. Charged up heavy attacks can't be blocked by shields, and you can roll to dodge attacks. Though I did get through most fights by just spamming the buttons.
Well, fights aren't particularly tricky, but if you are struggling, you can always call in a dragon friend for air support. What kind of dragon are you?
A helpful one!
These powerful attacks can make your job easier, but they also break the flow of the game with a long animation sequence.
I just don't feel like their attacks were impressive enough for that kind of fanfare. There's also a lock-on system which feels quite sophisticated for what's otherwise a rather simple game, but it didn't work terribly well. There's no visual indicator for when you're locked on, and it can be pretty awkward angling your body to get the lock on.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of fine control over character movement here. When you stop walking, your character snaps to face a different direction. This makes it frustrating when using Patch's abilities, which require some precision. It wasn't a deal breaker for me, but it was noticeably irritating.
Yeah, it kind of shows a lack of polish that you would rightfully expect on a fully priced game. And that's a criticism of the entire thing. There aren't any fully voiced lines, and all the story moments are just pop-up text boxes with awkward grunts. The boss battles also feel very old school, with mini battles that you complete to trigger the next section. But the thing that felt the most undercooked to me was the flying sections, which for a world all about soaring through the skies with your dragon buddy was poor form. It controls poorly, and most of the time your view is obstructed by the many clouds you have to fly through. It's like a blizzard up here.
Yeah, the best part of flying is the view, don't obstruct it.
Well, the best part of flying is not walking.
That's true. The game's story oddly doesn't take you to all the islands available, and there were a few times I'd be attacking directly on top of a barrel, but it wouldn't smash. But I still found exploring quite fun, and the puzzles are pretty satisfying. You'll be activating all sorts of switches and pushing blocks around, and using Patch's various abilities. There's also hidden chests to sniff out for the collectors at heart.
Yeah, the puzzles were pretty fun. But remember those sections with the brown smoke everywhere and you can't see where you're going and then just suddenly you fall through the floor? Oh, it was so silly.
No, I worked that part out. If you shoot fire through it, it clears it all up.
Oh, you're so smart, Jen. But it would have been nice if the game gave me any indication of that at all. There definitely is some fun to be had in Dawn of New Riders, but it's nowhere near polished enough for what they're charging. I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Look, there are some good moments here, definitely, but overall it feels like a disservice to the franchise, and I just can't get behind that. I'm giving it 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.